Hello Christian sisters, this is Sister Debbie from don'tperish.com. Hey, this is just a quick video to kind of talk you through the skirt pattern here. What you're going to need is a piece of fabric that is big enough that you can fold it in half and then draw out a skirt and cut it out. Now if you have a couple pieces and you have to do the front panel and the back panel on separate pieces, that's fine too. You just have to, you can either put them together and cut them once or cut them individually. That's totally up to you. But what you need first is your waist measurement. So you want to measure it around. Now you just measure wherever it is that you wear your skirts. I wear mine a little bit lower so that way it gets a little longer. I have a hard time finding material long enough. And take that measurement and then divide it by 2 and add on 2 inches. The 2 inches are for 2 inches at least. That's for hemming it up on the sides, and it's best to go bigger rather than smaller because you can always adjust it. So what you want to do is you want to lay out your fabric. Maybe you want to wash that first to make sure it's already pre-shrunk. And you want to mark your waist, the measurement here, the one that we just talked about. You want to mark that. And then I just do it with chalk. And then you want to draw just a straight line out as far as you can go on the fabric. Now you want to keep it as wide as possible down here for your feet for walking, and the wider it is the better, especially through here on your where the thighs go and stuff. So mark that out, and then when you're done you want to cut it out. So you're going to be cutting here and cutting here, or here and here, whichever, whatever. Let me move this up here. I kind of jumped a spot here. So anyway, once you've marked it out, you're going to go and you're going to sew along this edge here. And then you're going to sew this edge, and I stop right about here, leave a little bit, maybe 2-3 inches. It kind of depends, and I'm going to explain this to you. Let me stop right here and show you something. Okay, so this is one of the skirts I made, and I sewed it all the way up to the top till about I don't know, maybe that's not even 2 inches. Some of them are 2-3 inches long. Oops, get the camera on here. Anyway, I stop here, and the reason being is so when you pull the skirt on, it will go over the hips, and then you can tighten it back on your waist so that way it's not so big it just falls off. And then all you're going to end up using is a pin to pin it. Okay, so once you get that sewn and this sewn up here, what you're going to want to do is, if you need to, roll this under and seam it up. Roll this under, seam it up, and then you just kind of roll these a little bit because you're going to have a little slit here and a slit on the back side. You just kind of roll those under and seam them. Sew them, seam them, whatever. And then your skirt is pretty much done. Now, like I said, see, you're going to have this is going to be like an opening here. And what that does is when you pull that up, usually we're a little bit, most of us, not all of us, some of us are a little curvier on the bottom, and we need a little opening, a little bit more gap, and then you pull it on, and then you just put 1 or 2 safety pins, whatever you have there. It's a very simple way to keep your skirt on, and it's pretty basic that anybody can do. Now, if you start looking at waists with buttonholes and zippers and all this other stuff, I'm pretty functionable. I don't know how to do that stuff, and I'm not really sure I want to take the time to learn how to do that myself because I can get by with it this way. Now, of course, we're not all built the same. Some people are built very, very thin. Some people are very, very curvy. And I guess you're going to have to kind of adapt this to fit you, and there may be some trial and error, but at least it gives you a simple, basic idea. And the reason I like this and the reason I came up with it is because when I was looking at sewing all these skirts, it just boggled my mind, all these patterns, and you got to lay it this way and that way, and this has to line up with that. And I was like, wow, there's got to be a simple way to do things so I can get on with more important things, you know, glorifying the Lord in my life and not playing around with pieces of fabric that I have to just drape on my body. So quite honestly, sisters, if you were to look at the stuff that I've hemmed and that I've adapted to fit Jim and I or whatever, you're going to see a crooked seam, and you're going to see something that has some fray on it and it doesn't line up a little bit here or there. I'm not really sure that the Lord looks upon that. What he looks upon is our heart and our deeds of obedience. And if you have that skill to make it look perfect, and it's not difficult for you to do, that's awesome. You go for it. But me personally, I just wanted something simple. So Jim and I talked about this, and he asked me if I would put something on the internet for you sisters out there to help get you covered biblically if you're struggling finding things out there. This could be a skirt that you love and then you just keep wearing it all the time, or it may be just enough to get you by until you can find some that maybe are a little bit more functionable, or maybe in the winter time, maybe we want thicker fabrics that are harder to sew and don't lay quite as right, whatever the case may be. Even so, this will get anybody by pretty quickly. And the materials that you use, like I said, I used an old bed sheet to get me going. Of course, if it's thin material, you have to wear a slip under it. But this ought to help somebody out, I hope. And I'm going to sign off here so I can post it up there. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to send me an email. I'd be happy to help you. And if you have any suggestions yourself, let me know. Have a joyous day, sisters. May God be praised.